Good evening. If I have your attention, we'll get the program going this evening. I was trying to make it around the room, but I recognized in the interest of time we needed to get the program going. For those I've not met, my name is Keith Moses. I'm the Assistant Special Agent in charge of the FBI, assigned to Nashville, a resident agency, Memphis Division. I'd like to recognize or introduce Special Agent in charge Aaron Ford at the front table up here, our Community Outreach Specialist, Sheila Mosby, and we have a special guest that will get further introduced later on, but Assistant Director Michael Corton from FBI headquarters. We're glad, yes, we'll have a round of applause. We're glad to be here tonight to recognize the 24 members of the spring 2012 FBI Citizens Academy class that will be graduating this evening. I want to welcome the family members, the friends, and previous Citizens Academy graduates who are here with us tonight. If you're a family member, will you raise your hand? If you are, well, family and friends. And then if you are a FBI Citizens Academy alumni, please raise your hand. Very good showing. Thank you very much. For those of you who attended the spring session, we hope you enjoyed the class. You're part of a very unique group, not just because you guys had rain the first 3 or 4 sessions. In fact, we thought it was going to rain tonight, sort of in the same tradition the class began. The FBI Citizens Academy began in 1993 in Phoenix, Arizona, when then Special Agent in charge Jim Ahern initiated an outreach with the public sector. The program has since grown, with each field office having its own Citizens Academy, and I think the majority of them have their own Citizens Academy Alumni Association. But what makes you unique is your alumni association. The Nashville FBI office, as I mentioned a moment ago, is a resident agency assigned to the Memphis field office. Rather than join the Memphis Chapter Alumni Association, Hugh Tharp, then president, and other members in 2008 formed the Nashville chapter of the FBI Citizens Academy Alumni Association. This is the only resident agency with its very own chapter. You should be very proud of that, Hugh. And Holly and everybody else who participated. On March 1st, we held the first of 6 classroom presentations. Special Agent in charge Aaron Ford provided us with an overview of the FBI from its beginning in 1908 to the present. For the benefit of our guest, before our organization began, the Justice Department, quote, borrowed investigators from the Secret Service who were assigned to the U.S. Department of Treasury. That changed in 1908 when Congress passed an appropriation bill that forbade the use of, quote, Secret Service men, end quote, by federal agencies other than the Treasury Department. Thus, on July 1st, 1908, nearly 104 years ago, the Bureau of Investigation, a component within the U.S. Department of Justice, was created. It was renamed the FBI in 1935 when authority was granted to carry firearms. It is our intent when holding these classes that we debunk some of the myths about the FBI. No, we don't have listening devices in all households in America. No, we can't solve a crime in 60 minutes, even though you can eliminate the commercials. Our agency has just under 14,000 special agents. We're spread out in 56 field offices, over 400 resident agencies, and 47 legal attachés. By contrast, the City of New York PD has over 40,000 officers alone. With that said, Mr. Ford, I'd like to have you come up and do a couple of special presentations for us.
Thank you, Keith. You know, when I was first driving down here today, I started to think, because I'm a football fan, I was starting to think, I need to really get on Keith and Sheila for basically planning this graduation on the night of the NFL draft that I'm going to miss. And as I thought about it more, I realized I'm the one that thought of the dates and I'm the one that approved it. So I guess I need to yell at myself. But I want to say you guys made it to the members of the recent the recent Academy class, the 31st Citizens Academy. And as I told you on day 1, that we will always and forever have a special bond because you're the first class in Nashville, that I chaired as SAC. So I'm really happy and proud to be here today and to see you at this point. And if you'll remember, when I first met you on March 1st, that I said a lot of things to you, but one of the things that I said was that you will have a different perspective of the FBI, hopefully, if we're doing our jobs later on. And if you remember, I passed out that sheet of paper and asked you what you thought the role of the FBI was, and you gave some really, really good answers. But I will bet now, if I were to do that again, you will be able to fill out at least a page, and some of you maybe even more of that. So that means we did our job in putting on this academy for you. And I can see and I saw the hard work that you guys put into it. After working your day job and coming in at night and being attentive, and you saw the doors of the FBI opened up, just like we promised we would do, and we showed you as much as we could during those 2 months that we got to spend with you. I'm very happy to see those of you bring family and friends with you. That's when you know it's a big deal, when you invite someone to some type of ceremony or celebration. I mean, you wouldn't invite someone to watch you eat an ice cream cone. You know, you just do that on your own. But something like this is a really, really big deal, and I want you to understand that and know that. And just know that it's just beginning for you here. One of the other things I said to you when I first met you was that at the end of this, I want you to be ambassadors for the FBI. And you've earned it, certainly, at this point. And we all have the same task, the same job, and that is to make our communities safer and protect this country any way we can. And you don't have to be in law enforcement to help protect this country. And like I said to you before, the FBI has a unique responsibility, but we share this responsibility with everyone. And you are a huge part of that moving forward with us. There's no doubt about it. So I really want to thank you for everything that you've done and what you've put up with and working the hard and long hours. And just remember that the agents and the other employees that put on these classes for you work extremely hard as well. All of them, like you, came in early that day and did their normal job, and they came in at night to help facilitate the Citizens Academy for you. No question about it. And as we speak right now, there are agents out there working, making sure that they're doing their part to make our community safe in Tennessee. There's professional support people working right now while we're having a nice meal and enjoying this, making sure that we're safe. So I don't want anyone to ever forget that. And you're a huge part of what we do every day, and I'm just very happy and proud for you. And I see kids here as well, hopefully some future FBI employees among us out there. I would really like that. But thanks for being here, and at this time I would like to make a couple of presentations. The first one is to Mr. Greg Lemon. And Mr. Lemon actually represented the Memphis division as the recipient of the Director's Community Leadership Award down at headquarters. And we're very proud that we were able to have a Memphis division person represented down in DC. Greg, where are you? Come on up. I'll read it. We have a certificate signed by the Director of the FBI from the U.S. Department of Justice, FBI, in recognition of outstanding service to the local community and of enduring contributions to the advancement of justice, the Director's Community Leadership Award. Congratulations. The next award goes to Mr. Hugh Thorpe, and I actually should hold this one ransom until he gets me some more cookies baked by his wife, because she has some of the best cookies I've ever tasted. The first time I had some, I actually stole the rest of the lot from out on the table and took them back to my hotel room with me. Hugh Thorpe, come on up. He's a former Citizens Academy alumni president and has done so much for the organization and so much for the RA here. And we just, Hugh, want to show our gratitude and our thanks for all that you've done for us and the community. This is also a certificate signed by the Director of the FBI, Robert Mueller, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation expresses its appreciation to Hugh Thorpe for exceptional service in the public interest. Thank you. Sure.
I can't go without saying a word. But I will tell you, it's not just my effort. It's the effort of all the alumni. And there's something else unique about this alumni association in Nashville, is that we meet in a different venue every month we meet. And you wonder, why is that? Because we are ambassadors of the FBI. We want to hear what they're doing, whether it's NES, the airport, Homeland Security, the Tundra, Hendersonville, Franklin. That's an inside joke. You'll learn that as you become an alumni. But I want each of you to consider being members of the alumni because it's fun, and we've got key people in place that'll keep you informed, like Holly Folsom. Holly, where are you?
I think she left. Is she? Yeah.
There she is. She's the one saying she left. And Anna and Don, and we've got a ton of people that they want your help too. So you need to come out and join us and go see all these places. Going to the Corps of Engineers down in the dam was incredible. Just seeing that and hearing their talk about the May floods. We know what we got in Williamson County. But thanks to the FBI for the recognition. It's a group recognition. It's for this Alumni Association, and I accept it on their behalf. Thank you.
I just want to give you a little snippet. ASAC Moses had mentioned our guest speaker, Assistant Director Michael Corton from FBI headquarters. And he's going to come up later, but I just want everybody to understand the office that he represents. That way, when he's speaking, you'll have a really good sense of what he's talking about, and maybe during dinner when you're talking amongst yourselves, you'll be able to formulate some really, really good questions for him at the end of his speech. But Mr. Corton is the assistant director of the FBI Office of Public Affairs, and they manage and oversee the FBI's media relations, community outreach, history, and employee communications program. And they directly handle national or headquarters level media and community outreach activities and enterprise level employee communications. Now, this is a pretty large office and is headed by Mr. Corton, and he has a deputy assistant director and a front office section, which houses the executive staff unit, the national press office, the investigative publicity and public affairs unit. And he has a strategic communications section, which has the community relations unit, the online print media unit, the executive writing unit, and the employee communications unit. So now you see why I really, really made a good effort, and thanks, Mike, for accepting right off the bat to get him to come and speak to us, because there's a direct correlation, and the tentacles all connect with what we do here with community outreach, what you do with the Citizens Academy, and what he will talk about. So hopefully that will all come into focus for you when he speaks. Thanks. Keith?
As I mentioned earlier, the spring 2012 Citizens Academy class consisted of 6 classroom presentations. During the presentations, you heard from Supervisor Special Agent Randy Bechtel, who's up front. Randy, throw your hand up there, stand up. He provided you with an overview of the white-collar crime program, which included our healthcare fraud program, civil rights, and public corruption. It was complete with a videotape of a former state senator taking a bribe from one of our agents. We also received a presentation from Supervisor Special Agent Scott Augenbaum in the back of the room. And that was regarding our counterintelligence program. If you recall, we watched a training video of mock FBI employees who failed to report suspicious activities, which had devastating consequences when a mock FBI employee passed top secret information to a foreign adversary. As I understand it, at least 3 of the graduating members could not get enough of Scott Augenbaum, which I find difficult to believe. But I believe Addie Macy, Clarice Flint, and Lenny Stafford, and one other individual went to a conference to hear more of Scott. I'm assuming it has something to do with insomnia, and they just need some therapy. On one evening, Supervisor Special Agent Matthew Dunn, which Matt's in the back, provided an overview of our gang criminal enterprise program, violent crime program, and the Violent Crimes and Gang Task Force, which has responsibility for investigating gangs, bank robberies, and kidnappings. As I recall, we watched a video of a young boy named Mouse who got caught up in gangs because he wanted a place to belong. On the same night, we had a very informative presentation on legal matters and electronic surveillance by our Assistant Legal Counsel, Special Agent Cliff Goodwin. Does anybody recall what Cliff's favorite response was when asked a legal question? It depends. Coming from a lawyer, I'm not surprised. On March 29th, you were provided with an overview of the FBI's intelligence program. I know some of you think the FBI lacks intelligence, but that's one of the myths that we try to debunk in the Citizens Academy. The investigative, sorry, Aaron, I know you didn't like that. The SAC almost choked when I said that. The investigative analyst Nathan Cruz gave a presentation on how we refocused our efforts in the post 9/11 era. That same evening, we were honored to have the U.S. Attorney Jerry Martin provide a presentation on the federal prosecution his office does. If I recall, he indicated he was the chief federal law enforcement officer in the Middle District, to which you countered that you had 2 districts, which trumped him. You can share that with Jerry in his office. I'm sure they appreciate that. We also had Bill Kay provide an overview of our training program and brought out all the guns and toys and what have you. I think someone commented that Bill Kay crammed a 2.5-hour presentation into a 60-minute time frame, but it was very informative and was very appreciated. We had our last classroom. The last classroom meeting was held on April 12th. That night, Supervisor Special Agent Adrian Vach, who is in the back here, stand up so we can see you, Mr. Vach. There you go. He provided an overview of our international domestic terrorism programs. He discussed the importance of our state and local partners' participation on the Joint Terrorism Task Force. And I believe he had Alba, or Lorraine 1, open up a tool case that had a mock bomb inside of it. We also had a presentation by Special Agent Danny Boone, who's our polygraph examiner. Suzanne Nash and her team gave a great overview of the FBI's evidence response team and gave you guys a hands-on presentation in the garage that involved some casting of footprints, some super glue, and fingerprinting. You got to be pretty nasty business, as I recall, from looking at one of the cars and all the dusting. I have had an opportunity to review the critiques, and many of the presenters received very high remarks. However, the highest remarks went to one FBI employee that never spoke a word. Does anybody know who that was? Dulce, that's right. As you recall, Dulce was accompanied by his assistant, Rachel Pierce, who gave a very touching presentation on the Victim Witness Assistance Program. Yes, Rachel is the assistant. Dulce runs the program. We concluded the class with a field trip to the Williamson County Sheriff's Department firearms range. There, Special Agent Diane Harsha gave a presentation on our crisis management program, specifically the hostage negotiations program. Special Agent John McMurtry served as our range master and was successful that day, and he ensured that everyone, quote, went home with the same number of holes that they came with. Our next presentation will be from the perspective of the class participants. But before I bring up the next speaker, I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize Citizens Academy alumni for providing the food and refreshments for our classes. Kent Redgrave provided some food for week 1, Bruce Burleson week 2, Don Wideneck, and I think Anna provided the food for week 3. David Ogilvie, Anna Price provided the funding for the barbecue that came in on week 5. Linda Ragsdale provided week 6. Range Day again was Kent Redgrave. In addition to the people providing the food and refreshments, big round of applause for them, by the way. A number of alumni volunteered to come assist us with setting it up each evening and taking it down and hauling off the trash. Anna Price, Barry Brawley, our current president, Allison Cavapole, Holly Folsom, obviously. Fred Katz was there, Beth Terrell Hicks, Beverly Jeter, Jackie Profit. Big round of applause for all those who assisted our program. We have 3 individuals that will come up to speak in a moment, and I'm going to do them one by one. Anna, if you're ready, I'll have you come up and share your thoughts of what you thought about the class.
I am both humbled and honored to be part of the FBI Citizens Academy, and at the outset, I just wanted to thank Special Agent Ford and Assistant Special Agent Moses for hosting us on several occasions. And I have a very special shout out, of course, to Miss Carol Mosby, who's been very gracious, and it's surely been a pleasure and a blessing working with you. And lastly, I really want to say thank you for Don Wideneck, who actually proposed that I be part of the Citizens Academy, so I want to thank him. I'm not going to be real lengthy in light of the weather and everything else that's going on. I really want to talk about the vision of the FBI is something to me as a glue. It holds us together. We're really blessed to be in this country, and I'm very humbled by being in this country and being able to be part of what I think is one of the best countries in the world. And it wouldn't be what it is if we all didn't have people such as the FBI and other law enforcement to be there holding us together. Because I do believe that that really demonstrates that this country has wonderful individuals that are willing to put their lives on the line every day. And I appreciate that very much, and I think all of us should appreciate that. People can do a lot of things, but certainly enforcing the laws is, I'm sure, a very awesome responsibility. So I do appreciate being able to kind of share what's going on with the FBI and the techniques that the FBI is employing. Of course, as limited as that might be for me or for any of us, because we're citizens and we're not part of that whole process, it was really important for someone such as myself to look at that so that when I go out and, as it's been expressed, be a goodwill ambassador and start talking about law enforcement, that I know that I kind of know what I'm talking about, or we know what we're talking about. It's something that we can see a lot on TV, and even when we were doing the fingerprinting and everything and we watch CSI and things happen so fast, well, we know that doesn't happen in the real world like that. You know, we'd like to think so. But it was really very special to see all the other law enforcement, FBI law enforcement individuals come and, yes, take time out of their busy schedules. And I really do appreciate that. I know for me, somebody who's come from a family that was not originally here. We came from another country in the early 50s, and my father served in Korea. My brother served in Vietnam. I really grew up with a great appreciation for the people that keep us safe. And I'm also very proud that I have pretty much represented in the military every branch: Navy, Air Force, Marines, Army. Everybody's represented there, and I'm really honored to be able to be someone that has that background. So I know that we have different perspectives, and we all can sit around and discuss what is working, what is not, or what needs to be improved. But this really is a testament that we're able to even have that discourse, that we're living in a wonderful country that allows it, that encourages it, as long as it remains civil, that we're not afraid of any repercussions because we're able to express what we're feeling or ideas. So again, I'm really honored to be part of the FBI Citizens Academy, and that these wonderful people took time out of their very busy schedules to help us learn a little bit more. And I am also going to be very proud to put forth my greatest effort at making sure that anybody that I come in contact with really has a deep appreciation for what these men and women are doing for us. Thank you.
We did this in order of ladies first and then alphabetical, so that's how we came up with this. So just so you know, our next speaker is Clyde Duffy, who obviously has got some association with the Citizens Academy because there's 2 or 3 alumni sitting at the table with him. They're all family members.
So, 1972, 73, there was a show on television called The FBI. Do you guys remember that show? I was a little kid, so. And then, of course, mid-70s, 80s, we had Barnaby Jones, Magnum PI, of course, who was a private investigator. What else was out there? Various shows that kind of showed us what law enforcement was supposed to be like. Of course, 30 years later, we spring forward, and we have CSI, Crime Scene, all these different shows that show us an inside look at what the FBI is. And of course, we know that Hollywood sensationalizes television to make it what it is. However, we've had a great opportunity to sit in front of some FBI agents and actually go backstage and see exactly what their day-to-day job is. I didn't quite know what to expect when I first came to the class. Although my siblings had gone through the class, I immediately went out and was trying to buy a bulletproof vest, and you know, I thought my job was going to be in danger. And You know, my wife looked at me and said, "What, FBI, what are you doing? You know, you're a musician." So, you know, it wasn't until I got a chance to sit each Thursday after a long day at work and come in and actually be educated exactly on what the Federal Bureau of Investigation is all about, and to have the agents take time out of their busy schedules to come and spend time with us and give us a firsthand glance at how to fingerprint vehicles and how to actually, we went to one of the rooms and we got to see blood, you know, in the dark, and there was a smell associated with that I just haven't been able to shake. I think there was really a dead person in the room, but you know, that's another story. Of course, we can't forget Dulce, how he came in and taught us everything about what the dogs do, and the polygraph test. Didn't know what to expect with that, and I'm sure if my wife could get one of those at home, she'd put it on me every now and again. But to learn how every aspect of that works was really impressive to me, and I'm so thankful that the FBI has the Citizens Academy, that they bring us in to have us as ambassadors for the Bureau. I'm so thankful for that, especially the special weapons and tactics, the training that took place at the shooting range. I came home in one piece, no bullet holes in me, and I think there were a couple of you guys who shot for the first time, so I'm really honored that you guys were able to hit center mass on the target instead of spinning your weapon around and hitting one of us. So I really appreciated that. The last thing I'll say is I do feel empowered, and I want to thank the FBI for all the work that they do to keep our country safe. I have my lapel on, but I think what everybody in this class really wants to know is, when do we get our badge and our office, our Beretta issued to us so that we can go out and become real agents in the world and stop crime? But I'm just joking, but really I do appreciate the time. Agent Moses and Aaron Ford, Sheila, Scott Argamom, who took all my money for this dinner. I want to say thank you guys for allowing us to be a part of this great class, and we'll do our best to uphold the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Doug Frady. Doug.
I want to add my thanks to the FBI for spending the time they did with us. It was rewarding. Although I probably have a different perspective about why we were there. I'm sure they want ambassadors, but like any intelligence group, they want information. This is the beginning. This is not the end. I've been the alumni from several different groups, some of them law enforcement, some of them college. They never give up. The main thing that I'd like to leave you with is, when you go back to your separate and individual professions, take a new look at your environment and your surroundings. See what you can see, and remember to help the cause that we've entered into with the FBI. I've also got a handout, it's on the dessert table, that appeared in the Nashville, Tennessean. Says, Tennessee seen as a likely cyber target. Please take a copy with you and look at it in view of what we have just learned over the past 8 weeks. It's important. It's very important. From a personal point of view, at my mall, I'm with Cool Springs Galleria in Franklin. We started last year, a group called, I forgot what the group's name was now. Anyway, maybe Gary can help me with it. We recruited every merchant in that mall to come join with us in Franklin Police Department in a cohesive, organized way of reporting incidences. It's important. We have increased greatly the number of times that we've had law enforcement come in to help with arrest and other situations. It's made a difference in the whole tenor of that mall. It can do the same thing for your business according to the kind of business you have. So go back, take a look at your organization, see if you can find different ways to help, and remember, once you know something, pass it along. You can't wait till things get out of hand. Go ahead, even if it's just a suspicion. and report it to the proper people so they can do their jobs. And again, thank you. I enjoyed it. Nice to have met all of you, and I hope I see you at the mall.
All right, Doug was on to something. Don't put these plaques anywhere you don't want us to hear what's going on in your household. Our speakers were chosen by for the benefit of the audience, the family members, and the guests. The speakers of this class were chosen amongst themselves. When we hear these comments, it's very encouraging as to why we do what we do. Dave Thomas, who's also one of the graduating members, his father was an FBI agent. I grew up as a young child. My father was an FBI agent. I thought I knew about the FBI. I learned a little bit more about it when I joined as a non-agent, a support person, and then later became an agent. I hope this, for you, Dave, turned out to be somewhat enlightening to hear what your dad did over his years, although be it the 1970s and 60s when things were a lot different. But your comments tonight from the speakers validate why we do what we do. People come in with this perception of the FBI. They know what they see on TV, but hearing your comments helps us out. At this time, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank the FBI staff. And any FBI staff that participate in the Academy, please stand up. Sheila, please stand up putting this thing together, because you guys are what makes this thing happen. It's not what Aaron and Sheila and I do, it's what you guys do. At this point, I'd like to invite Special Agent Aaron Ford up to the podium to introduce our next speaker.
Well, listening to Anna, Clyde, and Doug sort of validates my request of you from day one that you become ambassadors for the FBI. And I'm sure they speak on behalf of the entire class, so I'm pretty sure we have a host of new people to add to that ambassador list that I'm keeping. And by the way, Doug, while you were speaking, I had a couple of my agents go and look for the name of that group you started. Give me 5 minutes, so we'll have it.
All right, what we're going to do next is give out the presentations or certificates. I will call out the names of the graduating member, have them come up, and have their photograph taken with Mr. Ford. All right, at this point, it's alphabetical. Miss Janet Braun. Yeah, we can wait for the group photo, that's fine. We can wait for the group photo, if you don't mind. I don't need individual photos, she'll have those. Next is Mr. Mark Brown. Our next person, go ahead.
Sorry.
What did we miss? Oh, hat. Our next recipient was Ty Cobb, but Ty had to go back to work, so he stepped out on us. Our next person who's here with us is Melissa Deskins.
Thank you.
Step over and get all your stuff.
That works well. You sure?
Next, Mr. Clyde Duffy.
Congratulations. Thank you very much. I see.
Next is Mr. Doug Frady.
That was fun. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's yours. Appreciate it.
Clarice Flint.
Jodie Foster name in the movie, Clarice. Congratulations, Clarice.
Miss Anna Gonzalez. Mr. Milton Hayes.
Congratulations. It was a pleasure meeting you. Salute.
Mr. Brandon Henthorn.
Look at Sharp tonight, Brandon. Brandon was interested in joining the Bureau. I bet some fun. Effective program. Oh, yeah.
Next is Miss Cheryl Kay. I know if it's Sherry or Cheryl. Called you both.
Thank you.
Next is Miss Addie Mae Massey. Oh, what? Come on up, Miss Massey. We just got to find the right plaque. And you really went to hear Scott speak? Yes. Next is Miss Monique McCullough. Monique, you should be behind the podium. You do a better job than I would. Next is Miss Rebecca McKelvey. Get that right. McKelvey.
That was fast.
Miss Stacy Merida.
Well, you bring a fan club? Congratulations. Can you get more?
Mr. Roy
along and tell it. No one told me.
Did you trick them?
That's right.
I did RC for 2 for you.
All right.
So I know you missed the last class, or one of those classes.
That's what's called a throwdown plaque.
So I guess we missed the last class.
Yep. There you go.
That's right.
Looking sharp. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right.
Mrs. Alba Gonzalez Nylander. Miss Lorraine Segovia Paz. Miss Julie Bennett. Julie, did I pronounce that right? Next is Reverend Gregory Stallworth.
Never lose that smile you got. Such a pleasure. You got more? Oh, thank you. One of the speech, one of the cage. Thank you.
And already standing in the back is Miss Tina Starr.
Congratulations to you. You actually get more.
And last but not least, Mr. David Thomas.
Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Nice meeting you. Appreciate it. Pleased to meet you, sir.
With that said, this concludes this evening's event. We will hang around if somebody wants to have some photographs with their family or children or alumni in front of the flag. But thank you all very much for being here tonight.